Hello everyone and most welcome again. And this is our history class, and we are basically discussing second chapter of 11th class history named Writing in the City. So today what we are going to discuss, basically we will discuss about in this chapter about Mesopotamia. Earlier in first chapter we already discussed about the Stone Age. We already discussed how the human evolution happened, how the human was living in the cave, then he suddenly started moving one place to another place. He was living on the tree, then he started settling somewhere, he started developing the agriculture. After the settlement, there was the when city was emerged, urbanization is the second stage of basically human evolution, you can say. Because in the last chapter we were discussing what was the evaluation was happening in the individual and the community level, but after that we also find out that people start living in the certain cities. So in this chapter we will discuss about the basically city emergence of the city with a particular civilization, which is Mesopotamian civilization. In India, the earliest civilization is known as Indus Valley civilization, but in the world that is Mesopotamian. So we are discussing about the Mesopotamian. Mesopotamia is a name from the Greek, which is means basically that means Meso means middle and the Potams means river. So basically Mesopotamia is a place between the two rivers that is named as Euphrates and Tigris. So Meso means middle and river. So Mesopotamia is land between two rivers, that is Euphrates and Tigris, is a part of Republic Iraq in the present day. And Mesopotamian civilization, basically why we are discussing, because it was a city life, because of the city life began in Mesopotamia. And city life began in Mesopotamia, and this is known for the literary prosperity, city life, mathematics, and astronomy. So basically many things we will discuss when we will discuss the urbanization in the Mesopotamia, or the settlement of the Mesopotamia. So we will discuss about how city was emerging, what was the pattern of living, what was the work people doing, what kind of the social structure was there. Everything we will discuss in that. Okay. So yeah. For this every time I explained you that in last chapter I explained you that whenever you have to study the chapter, first you're supposed to understand the sources of that. So before sources, there are some basic point also mentioned in book. If you will have a look, that basically they are explaining that in Mesopotamian system we will discuss about the writing system, how the writing system was emerged, although also how the literature spread in the Mediterranean and northern Syria and Turkey around 2000 BCE. That how people start writing the literature. That time the paper was not there, printing press was not there, but writing skill was there. So how the literature was spreading, that is also a kind of thing we will discuss. Also we will have a look on the little bit on the Pharaoh of the Egypts, that how the Pharaoh of Egypt and the language of script was important. Because if you know that the Egyptian language, basically hieroglyphs, was literally sold, and it was having a huge concept related to death and life. So everything was written. So how the literature start spreading in that time period, and also how the people was writing, that is a basic important concept to understand. As well as we will discuss the beginning of the record of the history, because when people start writing, they start recording the history as well as not history but other things also. We will also discuss urbanized south was called Sumer and occurred in Mesopotamia. So we will discuss that 2000 after 2000 BCE, when basically a city named Babylon, we will discuss about the city Babylon is an important city, and the term Babylon is means southern region. So we will discuss about the southern region of the Mesopotamia. Also we will discuss 1100 BCE. From 1100 BC we will discuss the Assyrian establishment of the kingdom in the northern region. So basically it is giving the example that we are discussing from 3000 to 1100. For 3000 to 3000 we will start discussing about the Mesopotamia. Laterly we will discuss about the Sumerian occurred. Then we will discuss about the Babylonia. We will discuss about the Assyria. So there are different topics what we have to discuss in this chapter. If you are not getting it, it's quite easy, don't worry about it, because this was a kind of introduction and we will discuss everything in the chapter one by one, so then you will get an idea what basically we are talking here. So leave the first paragraph and second paragraph in the book if you are not getting it, and start with the blue one, which is basically source, because that is basic important. You're supposed to know what kind of the source they are using. Also one more thing, that the first language in the land was used by Sumerian, and literally it was changed in Akkadian. It's supposed to be a 1 marks question, so you're supposed to know what was the first language. Akkadian speaker when so the language flourished in the time of Alexander and spread to the all over the world. So basically what kind of the source we found? Firstly, we found the source of related to archaeology, that we have many sources related to archaeology in that time period. So we can use the archaeological source to explain the Mesopotamian history in 1840s. After 1840s, the archaeological source was dealt by the historian. Basically two city was discovered, that is Urk and Mari, and in Urk and Mari many things we discussed, because on the behalf of Mari we may get information that is very important civilization referred to with the Old Testament in the first part of the Bible. What is Old Testament? Old Testament is the basically part of the Bible in the first Old Bible, you can say. Old Testament is referred to the Old Bible. Okay, 1 minute, take a minute. Yeah, Old Testament is supposed to be the Old Bible. So basically here we are talking about the Old Bible. So it why it says that it is referring to the Old Bible? Because Old Bible have a same story, that there was a person named Noah, and when the flood came, when every part of the earth supposed to be destroyed, but God appointed the Noah to save every person, not everyone, but a pair of every species. So he basically collected the every animal, bird in the boat, and he saved a pair of that, so the life can be again started with the pair of that animals and birds. And also human, he was himself, he was a human. That same story is we found in the Mesopotamia, which is but the character name is Jusudra or Uthepitam, Utna Pistim. So basically that's why it is connected to the Old Bible according to that story, because we found that same story into the Mesopotamia as well as into the Old Bible, which is related to Christianity. Mesopotamia is important in the European because it's referred to the Old Testament, and the first part of the Bible we already discussed this, and second is basically that Old Testament is referring Sumer, meaning Sumer, as land of the bricks and building. In Old Testament the Mesopotamian name is written Sumer, which is old part, and Mesopotamia is a ancestral land, attempt to prove the literal truth of Old Testament. So basically they start trying to prove the literal truth of the Old Testament. The truth I already explained, the story, the same kind of story you have in Indian Hinduism also. If you know that there was a king and Bhagwan Vishnu came, it's in Matsya Puran, Bhagwan Vishnu become a fish, and then he gave the idea that you're supposed to carry every pair of the animals and birds and then sit in the boat, because the Shiva is going to destroy the world with the water. So that is the story in the Hinduism also, and that same story we find in the Christian with the name with a different name. So but in mid 19th century, so basically what we have a source of archaeological we have archaeological source in also, and we have literary source also. What is literary source here? Old Testament is, we can say, the old literary source. Also there is archaeological source. And mid 19th century, the Mesopotamian was the site of Mesopotamia was excavated by the many people at that time period. So basically what was happening, the British newspaper founded an expedition of the British Museum to search for the tablet narrating the story of flood mentioned in the Bible. Same story in 1873 there is a tablet, and in that tablet the same story was founded which was mentioned in the Bible. In 1960 understood that the story of Old Testament was not completely true, but then that is a guide, the idea was clear that the might be the story is totally not true, and way of expressing memories about important change in the history, but we can say that it was a kind of way to express the change of the history, that how that important change was occurring in the history. So archaeological technique become more sophisticated at that time. Means how sophisticated means when archaeological was in starting, archaeologist was not that much sophisticated about the excavation. So sometime the site was also destroyed, but now the archaeologist was totally aware of this problem. So they was slowly and with the techniques they were excavating, so they will be able to get everything exact. It was in whatever form it is in the sites. So that was the idea of getting this kind of thing. So this is the basically source of the Mesopotamia. The nothing is there too much to too much to means understand, but you have to understand few more things and you have to remember. Yeah, because when you have different kind of the source, you're supposed to ask different questions, different construction, ordinary people, everything. You have to understand the narratives and the background of the history. For understanding the narrative and background, you're supposed to need the sources. So what we have here, we have archaeological evidence more than, then we have literary sources of also in the Mesopotamian. We have comparative study, means we found similar studies in the Mesopotamian Bibles and all. So basically these kind of sources are there. You don't have to remember everything. If just have a look, and if you are getting, it's good. If you are not getting, don't worry about it, because chapter will explain many things which you have to remember. Okay, so first this is the part where you're supposed to pay the attention. The first question here is Mesopotamia and its geography. So what is the geographical area of Mesopotamia? Iraq is a land in the diverse environment, that we know that Iraq have a different kind of diverse environment, and basically Mesopotamia is in Iraq. So this is we will discuss about the northeast first. So in Mesopotamia northeast, that is basically covered with mountain ranges, streams, wildflower enough, and we found the agriculture source that might be the here the agriculture was begin around 7,000 BCE, and produced the meat and milk also. Northern part we will discuss about the northern part. So in northern part we can the stretch of the upland called steppe. So then in northern part they were using a land which is steppe. For what they are using, the steppe is supposed to be the animal herding, and for the better livelihood for the agriculture. That what they were doing, they were they were having sheep, goats, and that land was basically used to feed that kind of the animal. So that was the idea of that. And east you have Tigris in and its tribute, and then you have south you have a desert where the first city and emerge. In the south you have desert, and we find first city in the south, and then we have Euphrates and Tigris. So basic concept of Euphrates and Tigris is here very important. Just remember that in northeast what you have, north you have, south you have desert, and east you have Tigris and Euphrates and Tigris. Why it is important? See, apparatus has entered into the desert, and there was a water flow of the apparatus with the small channels. Means like, okay, this is the river, okay, then you have land. So there was small canals which was going into the land. What was the basic we all load slit? What is slit here? That is the fine mud. Okay, whenever they was coming with the water, the mud was covering that land with that, and that's why the fertility of the land was always increasing. So that is river coming, and from the river the water is coming, and whenever the water is covering this land with the mud, that was increasing the fertility of the land. So canals was used to for the irrigation purpose. That's why the production of the crops was too much there, and might be there was no rainfall at that time, but the crop was totally fine at that time period. So we can say that apparatus was a source of water here. Okay, so and also we can understand understand that in ancient time using the canal for the irrigation was a quite development, and they were also growing wheat, barley, peas, that kind of the crop they was growing with that that water or on that land. Second thing is related to agriculture is that not only agriculture but the domestication was also developed. Why agriculture developed? You get the idea. Have a look again, that the river was there and the river was coming with the slits, and the slit was covering the land. That's why there was a fertile land, and they were using the canals water for the irrigation purpose. That's why the irrigation was developing. The second is that domestication was also developed, because in the northern eastern part of the Mesopotamia there was mountain, we already discussed, there was a slope. So they were using that kind of the land to feed the goats and the other domestic animal. They were using meat, milk and wool in the abundant sources. Fish was also available in that time period. Date and palms was there. So many of the thing we found and in that time period in the Mesopotamia. So this was the all about the chapter. We will discuss next theme in the next class. Till now you just have to remember that we are discussing about the Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is basically a land between the two river, and basically a land between the two river, and Meso means middle and river. So between two river, it's a part of Iraq, you're supposed to remember, known as what we will discuss in it: literary, prosperity, city life, mathematics and astronomy. This kind of the development was happen in the city. We will discuss what kind of the source we are using here. Archaeological source we found. The famous city is Urk and Mari, and this civilization is very important because it is also referred in the Old Testament and the Bible. Old Testament is basically saying Simar, which is basically Sumer, the brick built city, which is basically in Mesopotamia. And we will also discuss about the Old Testament story of the Old Testament related to Mesopotamia. You're supposed to know that Old Testament is basically talking about a story which is also we found in a tablet of the Mesopotamia, which is related to the No, and in Mesopotamia it says Zirusudra, which basically what the person who saved every birds, animals and human. So that is the story. Then we also, you're supposed to know that Mesopotamia, geographical situation of Mesopotamia, that in north east you have mountain range and flowers, and then agriculture was also developed here. Also you're supposed to know that in north there was a upland which was called steppe, and steppe was basically used to feed the domesticated animal. Also in east you have Tigris, south you have desert, and British played a very important role in development of agriculture and domestication both. So they were using the river water through the canals for the irrigation. The rain was not sufficient, but the crop production was totally good. And the second thing is domestication was also good because they were having many land, so they were using the land to feed or graze their animals, and they were also creating the meat, milk and wool in abundance of the amount. This is the only thing you have to remember. See you in the next class. Have a good day.